Welcome to the Justin Thomas Show. This is Justin Thomas. If this is your first time finding me, please go and hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you get notifications every time I upload. I do recaps and reviews and news updates on series such as Game of Thrones, Westworld, The Walking Dead, Vikings, Victoria, and much, much more. Now, if you guys are anything like me, you are looking forward to Season 5 of Vikings, which will premiere on November 29th, 2017. But this year, we will have another historical period drama to look forward to, which will air on Wednesday nights along with Vikings, the History Channel's Knightfall, which will premiere on the History Channel December 6, 2017, just 1 week after the Vikings premiere, and has been picked up officially for 10 episodes as of right now. Knightfall is described as recounting the fall, prosecution, and burning at the stake of the Knights Templars as orchestrated by Pope Clement V and Philip IV of France, also known as Philip the Fair. That eventually takes place on Friday the 13th, 1307, thus the superstition behind the date. The series is supposed to focus on a Templar leader. Looks like they are making him a Grand Master in this trailer we're about to look at, a brave warrior discouraged by the Templars' failure in the Holy Land who is reinvigorated by news of the Holy Grail that is recently resurfaced. So Knightfall just released its second trailer, which is much more of a cinematic trailer than the first, which was more of a teaser, which I will address in this breakdown, and we'll also link it below, along with a bunch of other great source material. Now, I want to say right off the bat that I absolutely want this series to be good and take no pleasure in pointing out any issues this trailer may have, and unfortunately, there is a problem right off the bat. And I also will not be going into too much detail about every little aspect of this trailer. I am going to mostly just be setting the scene and providing you guys with some information so you can go into this series with a good amount of knowledge about this period, because Vikings was a little bit harder for a lot of people since the Viking history, which we only have the sagas for, so it's kind of hard to walk into that world with a lot of knowledge of exactly what was going on. Fortunately for this series, and it could be unfortunately as we're about to jump in, there is plenty of source accounts and resources for everybody to look into to see exactly what was going on during this time. We start.
Landry de Luzon, your sword. Where were you first prepared to lead the temple?
In my heart.
And where was that heart tested?
In the field of battle.
By the grace of God, rise, master of the temple.
Rise, master of the temple.
We start off with Paris 1306, and then it cuts to a scene that shows Pope Boniface. We know this is Pope Boniface because he is listed on history's official site as part of the main cast and described as a stabilizing, incorruptible force within a corrupt medieval world. The Templar Knights value him as their holy leader, and they're willing to execute his orders without question. This is an accurate description, for the most part, of the historical figure, but if they are showing him in 1306 Paris, there is an issue, since he is dead in 1306. And I will let the trailer play a little bit more to really explain why I'm not just nitpicking here, that this is an actual issue. And I'm hoping that this scene is just a result of poor editing, but it doesn't seem to be. But let's continue on.
There is an army on French soil, loyal not to you, but to the Pope.
This is defiance. By God, Landry, I cannot allow it.
Something has happened, something extraordinary. Can change everything.
The Holy Grail is in France.
What better symbol to lead us back to the Holy Land?
The Pope must be dealt with, and we must recover the Grail for ourselves.
The temple is not safe for you or the Grail. This will be the death of you.
The armies of God will be reborn.
What does this mean, my lord?
It means war.
I have given my life to the Grail.
What kind of queen would I be if I did not defend my people?
The ones we love the most are the ones most likely to betray us.
So we are introduced to our main character who seems to be becoming a master of the Templars. Every country had their own Templar master. A Grand Master oversaw the masters of every country, and they had a lot of military clout over the Templar force and so on, kind of like a general. And what I'm hoping here is he's being anointed by Pope Boniface in a flashback, but again, it does not seem like that is the case. So the issue is not only is the Pope dead that they're showing, but the Pope that is put in place is a puppet Pope that is put in place by King Philip, who we have in the series. It is highly believed that Philip not only killed Boniface, but also killed the successor, Pope Boniface, who was only in office for 8 months. See, we have what is known as the Avian Papacy. It starts with Pope Clement, a Frenchman that Philip got elected, and they moved the court to France, where it remained for 67 years. A total of 7 popes reigned out of Avian. They're all French, all increasingly fell under the influence of the French crown. So they take the power base out of Rome and they put it in France. This is very important not only for the papacy, but the Templars in this storyline that we are supposed to be seeing played out. So it seems like they're kind of mashing it up and they are having the Pope as a rival when the Pope would really be an ally for Philip. The fact is, if they are showing us Paris in the year 1306, they're showing us the wrong Pope. And the timeline is only reinforced by the first trailer where Tom Cullen's character, the Templar Knight, yells, "It's been 15 years since we lost Acre. Why are we still in France?" He is referring to the Siege of Acre in 1291, which marks the loss of the Crusaders' final stronghold in the Holy Land and puts us at 1306 in the timeline as well. So the reason I really hope these are flashbacks is because we're supposed to be witnessing the demise of the Templars and the events that take place just 1 year after 1306 and 1307 on the now infamous Friday the 13th. And we're put into place as far back as 1305 with the new Pope, not Pope Boniface, Pope Clement and King Philip. Resulted in him ordering the Grand Masters, Masters, and scores of other French Templars simultaneously arrested. It's generally agreed that the charges were false. According to some historians, King Philip, who was already deeply in debt from the Templars from his war with the English, the 100 Years' War, decided to seize upon the rumors for his own purposes and began pursuing the church to take action against the order as a way of freeing himself from the debts. So essentially what we see here as far as battle scenes is a tease of the Templars actually fighting Philip's French army. I guess I'd be fine with that. That's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. And issues, again, they would have been not at this time, but regardless, in the other scenes of battles that we are seeing, especially when we're seeing Landry with long hair, is definitely the Siege of Acre, as I mentioned before, which is really the end point of the Crusades in the fall of Crusader power in the East. We also have characters such as Queen Joan I of Navarre and some other major players. So this definitely looks interesting. It just looks like they're mashing up events. Of course, we are introduced to a plot line that is more fantasy-based, Da Vinci-esque search for the Holy Grail, which is something that's commonly used. And that is to be expected. Even though, yes, if you look at the history, the Templars were not nearly as obsessed with the Grail as they are always depicted to be, but that's not a big deal for me either. You'll see other people complaining about that, but I just really have a big issue, call it bravehearting. Right on the first scene you show, you just slap a incorrect year that doesn't coexist with the characters. It is on the History Channel. Just stick to the timeline, at least. You can speed things up and whatnot, but I mean, just totally make history whatever the hell you want it to be. But besides that, I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, I have every reason to hope this is good. I do hope it's good. The action looks good. It looks like it's got a pretty decent budget. It looks great, visually. And for the record, I'm not a religious person whatsoever. So don't think I'm just some Christian complaining. And most likely, yes, they will depict the Crusaders as a evil organization to a point. It's looking like they are going to split that down the middle. For any of you guys that are worried about that, it does look like you are going to get that. So I'm hoping it to be good. I'm going to keep up on the series. I'm going to do regular recaps and reviews on the series. And again, if you have not subscribed, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure to check out our Patreon. We just started one up. Make sure to consider becoming a member. We got some cool perks that you guys get, and it will really help the channel a lot. Just a little bit from you guys that most would barely notice coming out of their pockets could make a huge, huge difference for the quality of this channel. Again, I'm Justin Thomas, and I will see you guys soon.